Jesse James Wax Museum, and unfortunately it's closed. There's a sign on the door that says it's only open on weekends, which I don't understand. It's confusing. I can't believe they don't have enough people interested in the Jesse James Wax Museum to be open 7 days a week. So we're just out of luck. I guess we'll have to come back on the weekend, but I'm pretty sure this place is going to be so crowded and so packed full of people, we're not going to be able to find a place to park. I mean, I bet when this thing is open, they have cars lined up all the way down the highway. But today, it's closed. What's up, everybody? It's a couple of days later and a little chilly, but we're back at the Jesse James Wax Museum. And guess what? They're open! We're gonna go inside and we're gonna learn a little bit about Jesse James. Alrighty, so here we are at the Jesse James Wax Museum. Over here we got a collection of different kinds of hats you can get. These look like hats for small heads though. And there's some postcards. I'm thinking that might be Jesse James. That looks like maybe his mother. Yeah, she's got one arm. I heard she got her arm blown off, so that must be her. I don't know who that guy is. Cowboy hats. Jesse James Museum cowboy hat. And some posters. Basically, this seems like a gift shop before you go into the museum part. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. Oh, here's some kind of piano. But it's out of order. It's okay. Still very colorful. Let's see, all kinds of stuff on the walls. And mostly a lot of art, gifts, things you can buy. It's an old-fashioned slot machine. Not a gamma machine. Token. Some mugs and things. Look at this. This is a slot machine. It's also a person. Wow. And of course, Route 66 memorabilia. That's just going to be everywhere you go. Uh-oh. CH is going to skip Curtis. I don't like that. When's it going to be my turn? Oh, there's a big old gas pump. Okay, so you can't take any pictures and stuff inside the museum. So I'm going to go back to the car, put my camera away. Trying to get that in the shot too. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to the car, put my camera away, and I'm going to go inside and take the tour. And then I'll come back and tell you what I thought about it. Okay, just finished up at the Jesse James Wax Museum, getting ready to head out. It was very interesting. They wouldn't let me take any pictures or videos while in the museum, so I'll try to describe to you what I saw. It was kind of interesting. First you go into a little area and you sit down and you watch a 16-minute sort of propaganda movie, basically, about the life of Jesse James, life and death of Jesse James. It was a DVD copy of a VHS tape that was made in 2000. And so it was letterbox and this weird little colorful line at the bottom of the screen through the whole thing. The basis of the Jesse James Wax Museum seems to center around this idea that Jesse James didn't die in the 1800s, but instead faked his death and lived on into, I think, 1950-ish, like 1951 or something like that, to the age of 102. There's no strong evidence, in my opinion, supporting this. It's not generally accepted that this happened, but there are a handful of people, and they got some affidavits, and they've got this guy. They interviewed him. He's got scars and stuff on his body in the same place Jesse James had them, and the guy that they were interviewing, the 102-year-old guy, they don't have any birth records for him. So part of their evidence is, well, if this isn't Jesse James, then who is he? If you can't tell me who he is, then he must be Jesse James. And of course, this is a logical fallacy. There are lots of people who don't have birth records. So it's not unusual for someone born 150 years ago to not have perfect and accurate birth records. But they have other evidence too, and a handful of people that signed some affidavits and so on. And I suppose it's somewhat compelling, and if I cared about Jesse James and Jesse James history, maybe I'd look into it further or come up with counter arguments, but I don't really care that much. The rest of the museum was interesting. The wax figures didn't look much like people. They look more like caricatures of people, and they've been there for so long that they've got dust on their shoulders and stuff, and everything looks very sad, really. Not disappointed I went. I've never been to a wax museum before, so I'm not sure what I expected, but I guess for $10, maybe you shouldn't expect too much. But I do like the museum aspect of it. They had a lot of tools and items that, probably, mundane items back then, a couple hundred years ago, but there's stuff I've never seen before. But then they also had a collection of old guns, what's left of them. Most of them, very rusty and old, but it's kind of interesting. I'm also not into guns, but I am into old things, so it was kind of cool. A lot of tiny little, I don't know what you call those little tiny guns, but they had a whole bunch of those. One of them had 4 barrels on it. I'm not sure how that works. Do you shoot all 4 at the same time, or can you switch to? I don't know. Anyway, and that was basically it. So there wasn't a whole lot to it, but hey, at least we did it. We went to the Jesse James Wax Museum in what's the name of this town? We're in Missouri, Stanton, Missouri, according to my receipt. And I paid $10.65 with tax. So that's what you can expect when you come to the Wax Museum of Jesse James. So I would say it's worth stopping by. The lady in the lobby was really nice, and I wouldn't make it a destination, but if you just happen to be here and it happens to be a weekend, stop by, give them $10, see what I saw. And then you too will feel the way I do right now. It's a couple of days later, and it's a little chilly. We go inside, and we're gonna learn about Jesse James. Did I say Jesse Jackson? I feel like I said Jesse Jackson Museum a second ago. Okay.